afternoon. Hello, welcome to Let's Talk Chess Luck. We are on episode 7 now. Hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to believe. Yeah, welcome to episode 7. Let's talk chess luck.
Everyone who's been listening to the show knows, that's Augie. We're going to talk to Jaye Burrell today, a local Philadelphia comic, and Iraq War veteran, I believe. Here we go.
Let's talk chess luck. Let's talk chess luck. Let's talk chess luck. Let's talk chess luck. Let's talk chess.
Hello.
Hey, Jay, what's up, man? How are you?
I am outstanding, Mr. Chesslock. How you doing?
I'm well. Welcome to the show, Jaye Burrell. Am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
Yes, sir. It's Burrell. It's Burrell. It's not like the old Phillies player, Pat Burrell.
Pat Burrell?
Yeah, it's not like that. It's Burrell, so it's got a little bit. It has a little bit of flavor to it.
Okay. I like that. Good.
But I'm also jealous of him because his name has millions attached to it, so we kind of even out on that.
Yeah, but I heard that Pat Burrell was talking shit about the Phillies lately. So we don't, I don't know about Pat Burrell anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I listen to a lot of sports podcasts, and I heard somebody say that Burrell was talking smack about the Phillies or whatever. And, everybody's trying to get clicks or whatever. He probably has his own podcast, and everybody's trying to get attention, so they choose negativity, which I think it's a cheap way to get attention.
Exactly. It's
Oh,
Can you?
you were about to drop some wisdom on us, and then you cut out.
I'm sorry. I'm putting my headphones on because my phone speaker sucks.
That's okay. You don't have to apologize.
No problem.
We were saying that people try to get attention with negativity, and it's a cheap way to get attention. And then you agreed with that. And you said,
Generally, it's low-hanging fruit. I think by now, once you get to a certain age, you realize that you'll get more eyes with negativity than you do with positive things of love. So,
yeah, but there's no future in negativity, man. And it's kind of a dead end road. It's like, have you ever done anything with improv or anything of that nature?
I've tried it out a few times. Yeah.
Yeah, the concept is yes and you agree, and then you add to it. But if you say no, but it's kind of a dead end road. You know what I mean?
That's a great point.
Yeah, it might be easier to get attention in the very short run by using negativity, but the return on investment is just not there. I don't think it is anyway. What's up, man?
Exactly.
Happy Monday to you. How are you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a whole new day with less humidity outside, so I can't complain.
I know that's right. Yeah, you drive around as I do for work, and I felt like I was getting away with something versus last week, where I just felt like I was getting beat up constantly.
Exactly.
Yeah, right on. Well, welcome to the show. You are episode 7 of Let's Talk Chess Luck, and I wanted to talk to you because you're a war veteran, are you not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am.
You were a soldier in the Iraq War?
Yes, sir. I was part of the invasion of Iraq. So, yeah.
And you have a really interesting story that I wanted to talk to you about because you were in a coma or something. I would love to hear more about what happened with you when you were overseas, specifically with that, because I find that whole concept very interesting. Tell us what happened.
No problem. I was in Iraq, but I also was, like you said, in a coma.
Yeah.
And I like to leave that little break right there. When I say it as a joke, I say them one after each other, so it sounds like I went to war and then I got in a coma because of that. Nah, I just can't drive. So
okay.
So I was in a car accident that had me in a coma.
Uh-huh.
But and it was and it was overseas. I was working overseas, and I had a rental car, and I don't recall the accident itself because up to that point everything was blacked out and stuff. I didn't wake up until a few weeks later. Come to find out, the reason I was hit was because I was trying to make a U-turn, and somebody said, "No, you're not." And yeah, they said, "You're not making this U-turn." So they hit my car. I woke up a couple weeks later, not aware of my surroundings and why I was in the hospital.
Wow. Now, was this in Iraq, or was this was over? Was when you were a soldier?
No, it was not. It was I was in Iraq. I was in Iraq from 2000 and 2003. I was in the invasion. And I went back to Iraq as a civilian. No. I'm sorry. I did go back to Iraq, but the accident didn't happen in Iraq. It happened in a country very close by. I don't really necessarily want to say the name of the country, but
wow.
It was a Middle Eastern country very close to Iraq, and that was in 2006 was my accident.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. And how long were you in a coma, Jay?
I believe they said I was in it for 3 days. It was a medically induced coma. I forgot the exact name for it. But they said my brain was swelling against my skull.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So it came to a point that was almost going to have to open my head up and steal chunks of my skull. So it's a blessing that they didn't have to do that, and the swelling went down and stuff like that. So I woke up a few days later, and then when I was awoken, they told me that I was on drugs the first week after being awake, and I don't remember that first week or week and a half of being awake.
To this day, you don't remember it?
No, I don't. Yeah, I wish I did. I had a lot of people come from the place I worked at overseas, and they came to visit me. Majority of them came that first week when I was first found in the hospital. Originally, I was almost fired from the job that had me there because I wasn't showing up to the job, but I was in a hospital sleep. Exactly.
So you were working over there as a citizen, like after you had already served your time as a U.S. soldier, right?
Yes, sir. I was only in damn, these M's kick my ass. I was a military maintenance mechanic.
You did very well with your M's, my friend. It didn't sound like you were getting your ass kicked at all.
Thank you very much. But I was a mechanic when I was in the Army, and so when I was over in this other place working as a civilian, that's what I was as well.
Wow, that's wild. And you came to after you were in a coma. You didn't recall why you were there, and how long did it take you to put everything together to figure out what was happening with you and where you were?
Okay, so here's the crazy part is this, right? Yeah, I was in a hospital room. I didn't know how I got there. I didn't know how long I had been there. But as wild as that wasn't even the wildest thing to me. I remember waking up and seeing one thing, and I was, how old was I? I was 30 years old, I think. Maybe 31. This is the first time in my life. Not only did I wake up in a hospital not knowing where I was, but I saw my parents in the same room. I had never seen them in the same room. My parents would never had me as kids, so I never seen them together. The only time that I've seen them around each other was arguing over the phone about me.
I gotcha. So they combined their resources to come and be with you because they figured it was really bad. Is that right?
Oh, well, no, actually, I forgot to tell you about that. My company thought I was going to die.
Yeah,
so they paid. Yeah, they did. So they paid for my parents to fly there.
Wow.
Yeah, because they figured, hey, your son about to die. The least we can do is allow you to see him before we chop him up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hold on. I got somebody. Speaking of cracking open heads, I have somebody that wants to say something. Hold on a second. What do you?
No problem.
What do you want?
I want to talk to Jay a little bit. Is that okay?
What's up?
Hey, what's up, Jay? How you doing, baby?
I'm outstanding. What's your name, man?
My name's Auggie Santana. I'm from Northeast Philly.
Augie, what's up, man? How you?
I'm good, man. I understand, like, when your parents aren't in the same room. I come from kind of the same upbringing myself. What I want to know is, when your mom and dad saw you there in the hospital, were you awake at that point? Were you walking around? You didn't know what was going on? What was the situation with you at that time? That's what I want to know.
Again, I was asleep the first few days. I don't think they knew where I was at. I think I was just in the hospital and nobody knew who I was then. I think my job found me first. They came up there. They told my parents, I don't know the exact time because I was asleep. But eventually my mom got there. So by the time I got there, I think I was awake, but I was drugged. And I don't remember that first week or week and a half at all. So the things I'm telling you now are just things I've drawn from everybody else who was there.
Like a forensic investigation, like a crime scene investigation on your own life. Is that right?
That's a genius way to put it. I'm going to have to use that in the joke.
You should. Because
you
gotta put together after the fact, and they make a paint, and then you don't know, it made no damn sense, and then you compare it to somebody else, and be like, is that what happened? I don't know, because I was there, but I was out to lunch. Leave me alone.
Exactly.
I'm out to lunch most days, so it's all good.
Yeah, yup.
I'm gonna sneak back into Tony's head and let him talk.
Thanks, Augie.
Thank you very much, sir.
So, you live in Philly? Is that right, Jay?
No, sir. I live in Norristown, Pennsylvania.
You live in Norristown. Okay, so it's kind of the outranges of Philly. Why did you choose?
Yeah.
Why did you choose to do stand-up comedy?
Man, it's wild. So I told you about the time when after I was in the Army, I had a job in Iraq as a civilian again. So I was in Iraq in 2009, and I was just sitting there watching, Shaquille O'Neal's Comedy All-Stars with Kevin Hart and Ari Spears and a few other people. And I remember saying it then. I was watching it with my homeboy, and it just came to me out loud. I'm going to do open mic when I get back home. So I was living in Georgia at that time to be around my son. And when I got back to there, within a few months, I was looking for places to go do open mic. And I was in Augusta, Georgia at the time. That's like home of the Masters. Mm-hmm. It's a couple hours from Atlanta. So my first thought was to drive to Atlanta, and that's where I was going to go. But then somebody told me about a spot in Augusta. No, actually, I went to another place, and I had a long conversation with my first comic down there. Mm-hmm. But then after that, he told me that they didn't have open mic there anymore. So then I heard of this other place in town. It was a place called Alter Egos.
Okay. Okay.
They changed the name of it a few times, but anyway, that was where I began my open mic. But even still then, it was just I don't know. It was something on my list of things to try. Mm-hmm. I'm a person who likes to go towards the things they're afraid of.
Yes.
As much as I can. So one of the things I'm afraid of all my life has always been my speech problem. Damn. My speech problem. And I've been afraid to speak in front of crowds, but I also at the same time have always been a clown. Uh-huh. So I don't like being afraid of stuff. So That's also a reason I went back to Iraq the other time, was because of I was really afraid of Iraq. Damn. I was really afraid of Iraq. So
you
going back there,
wow.
yeah, I went back, and I made a lot of cash there too. Like I didn't go back for free.
Oh well,
so
right, yeah. I mean,
I did get paid good. Yeah,
I would imagine so. I mean, you know, you're doing mechanical support in like a post-war Iraq with I mean the fledgling members that became ISIS, right? Although they could be anywhere. Yes.
Ultimately, yeah.
Yeah, so the pay was probably pretty good. I find that's more fascinating to me than the fact that you've had an experience with a coma. The fact that you just admitted to me that you like to engage with things that make you afraid, because do you feel like that's how you master your fear? You're going to make it less scary by engaging more?
No doubt. I've always
I love that.
I've always been trying to find what my life is about, so I don't like things hold me back. So don't get me wrong, though. I love tigers too. I'm not gonna go jump in a zoo or go, hey kitty. Nah, it's not gonna happen like that. But things that I want to do that I know I'm being held back by things I'm afraid of, I gotta handle that. As far as Iraq goes, I thought too much about Iraq in my life after the fact, so that was one way to face it head on. Because when I first left Iraq, that was one thing I told myself, is I'll never go there again. That was one reason I left the Army, because I was able to re-enlist while I was in Iraq, and they was asking me to. And at that time, it's like it's prime time war time. Mm-hmm. So at that time, the government is throwing all type of contracts out, mm-hmm. because now they got the funds from Congress. Mm-hmm. So, long story short, I think at that time, everybody whose time it was time for them to re-enlist, they was throwing a real bag at them to try to hold them in. And at one point, we weren't allowed to leave anyway. They got a thing called stop loss. So if you're in the Army and you're supposed to leave and you planned on leaving, you can't, because we're at the point we need you. So I was under that for a while, but not very long. Then when I got my first chance to be able to leave, it was the end of my first term. They was offering me a bunch of money. And being when you're in Iraq, when you deploy and they offer you some cash, it's all tax free.
Yeah.
So I could have came back with about 20 grand, but it was a combination of a couple things. One, I was afraid of just staying there, and I didn't want to, and I didn't believe the cause that we was over there for. And two, I talked to other contractors, and they told me how much they got paid even in the United States. So once I heard those things, I said, well, I'm going to go back home then. So that's what I did.
That is fascinating, brother. Wow.
And I appreciate it.
I think that's pretty fascinating, too. I like to face my fears as well. Like,
yeah?
For example, the neighbor's dog is really scary. And I keep trying to engage with him, but he bit me once, and maybe I better not do that. So I don't know. It's not exactly the same. I just want to feel like I'm part of the conversation.
I got you.
You understand? Like, I'm also very afraid of the dark. One time my mom turned the lights off in the basement when I was still down there. I got scared. I tried to run up the basement real quick, and I sprained my ankle. So, again, not really exactly anything in relation to what you're talking about. I just want to feel like I'm part of the conversation. Thank you so much.
You are part of the conversation, man. You gave him great insight.
Well, here's the thing. I don't even really exist. I'm just a figment of Tony's imagination. Let's be honest. This is some dude parked in his car in his driveway, making a bullshit voices because the man's we don't got to get too deep in it, but I think you understand.
Yo, man, this is crazy. I was wondering if that was your ass. I thought it was a real person the first time. That's funny as shit, yo.
No,
you told me you was gonna do that too. But anyway, I'm sorry.
It's just me. It's just me. It's
just him. It's just me. And which is which? Which is which, Jay? Which is which?
Yo, you got me good on that.
Did I really?
I thought somebody else was listening in.
Dang, man. Dang. How about that? How about that, Augie? They thought we were two different people.
I think that's pretty great, dude. You should feel pretty good about yourself. And you should maybe you should let one of those other voices you got on the inside out a little bit too. What do you think?
Yo, no, we can talk about that, bro. Yo, I do. My on stage, one of my personas, man, I just went to this class and I decided to go with Remix J. Remix has a reason behind it. One of those reasons is because I got a speech impediment, and when I go on stage, for some reason, I don't stutter that much. Like, it's wild as hell. And in fact, so much that I got to fake a lot of it to make some of my jokes, because they just sound good if you impersonate how it's being said. But anyway, I don't know why, but for some reason on stage, I don't have the problem with my speech. I actually do know why, but I don't know how to apply it to everyday life. But when you're saying that, the other you that's having a conversation that I thought was somebody else, that's Remix in me. I've been having my own inner personality all my life. I just don't have different voices for mine.
Well, I have this other voice that I'm trying to play with. I think I better just talk for myself. The name is Blobby. Now, the reason my name is Blobby is because my dad went down after the day I was born. He accidentally put an L inside the name on the birth certificate, and all these years later, it's too damn much just to go down to where the birth certificate is and change it to Bobby. You understand? My dad tried to name me Bobby, but he put Blobby.
I got you.
So anyway, what I would encourage you to do, Jay, if you are so inclined, is do not attempt to eradicate the way you express yourself, sir, because I gotta be honest with you, I like how natural you are, and I don't think you have a speech impediment whatsoever. I think personally it's just the way you are, and I think that kind of thing is beautiful, honestly.
That's what's up, man.
It is very interesting, however, that you don't as you say, stutter. And by the way, I don't think stutter is a very nice way to put it, but whatever. We'll get into the details of that at another time. I think...
Well, I do identify as a remixer, so I'm not necessarily a stutter because I'm too old and I know how to handle mine. As a kid, it was horrible. Even now, at times, it's still bad. But
right.
I'm a remixer now.
Now, is that something that you've decided to give yourself a certain level of power by calling yourself a remixer? Is that your own phrase, or is that a phrase that people who have this type of expression, is that something that is used by a community of people?
Man, that's wild. Maybe now some people call me remix, but that's a wild question. Man, I just remember a joke used against me when I was a kid, when I was jonesing. I don't know what y'all called it. We was talking shit to each other at a school lunch table with a bunch of people around, and I was winning. Winning at first, and then I got caught up at a point, and I couldn't get out some lines, and he called it out, and he said, yo, you sound like you can't even sing that shit. You sound like a remix. And everybody in the cafeteria, everybody that was there, just started rolling, including me. So
you liked it.
That person,
that's mine.
Yeah, I did. I haven't used it at all since then, until recently, actually. And that person who used that joke, he actually passed away. So, yeah.
Okay. it's just very interesting to me that it doesn't express itself like that when you're on stage. And you said, I know why, but I don't know how to utilize that in real life. Why do you think you don't stutter as much on stage?
Well, amongst being a stutter and a remixer, I'm also an overthinker. Damn.
I know,
So
Tony.
that means
I know that Tony can relate to that shit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I can.
You're a quadruple overthinker. Damn. But I'm along the same lines. I overthink, and usually a vast majority of it is random shit that may mean something to me, or maybe it's something to somebody, but it's ultimately not going to lead me anything ahead. I can spend hours by myself thinking of shit. Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, I mostly I have thought about throughout my life, myself. Like, I'm always changing my environment, so I'm going to think about whatever environment I'm in as well. But I'm thinking about myself, and the main thing I'm trying to think is, why can't I talk right? Mm-hmm. And then it's certain times where I talk to myself, because I talk to myself too, all my life, and I talk pretty good. So that's what kind of gives me the heart to go try it on stage, because I know how good I am when I'm alone.
Right.
But it's kind of like playing with yourself at home. You can do that as good as you want. That don't mean you're gonna be good with a chick, though, right?
That's right.
You know what I mean? So,
that's a good way to put it.
Once I got on stage, my first couple of times on stage at that place I told you about, Alter Eve goes, I wasn't good, I wasn't funny, but my biggest surprise I kept asking myself is, why did I not stutter on stage? Like, so that really, my first 2 or 3 times when I went back, it was to ask me that, because I was trying to. At one point, I was actually trying to just talk and just randomly talk, and enough to where it would be a problem, and I wouldn't be able to continue on. And I would suppose that it would be my first laugh, because at that point I ain't really had no laughs.
Right.
So I wanted it to be a laugh, and I wanted to see how long it was going to take before I actually showed this crowd what it is, these jokes I'm saying, because I sounded dumb. And if you ask me, like, I didn't like making fun of myself about my speech problem, but while I'm up there, I'm 100% clear.
That is so wild. Some neurologists,
that is wild.
Some neurologists, I'm sure, would be very interested in that. The thing that I keep thinking of, years ago when I was doing, I'm a physical therapist. I've been doing that for 15 years. Anyway, when I was a student, I did a rotation in a skilled nursing facility, and this gentleman had a stroke, and he had something called expressive aphasia, which means that when he tries to express himself, it doesn't come out correctly.
Really?
Yeah, and
Hold on. What did you say? How it happened to him again?
He had a stroke.
Oh, a stroke.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, he had a stroke. This is like commonplace in nursing facilities, and the gentleman had a stroke, and he had mobility issues as well as weakness on one side of his body. He couldn't walk, etc. But he also, when he went to express himself, all he could say was, "God damn it, all right, Jesus Christ, all right." That's all he could say.
Really?
Yes, unless he was singing. When he would sing, they call it intonation therapy. When they would sing, he would be able to communicate clearly, and he lived at the place. He was like, he didn't have a family, so he was kind of a ward of the state. So he lived at the long-term care facility. He would sell candy bars in the hallway, and when he did so, he would sing. He would say, "I have Snicker bars, they're only $2. I have Mars bars, they are only $1. And he would be able to communicate clearly about the candy bars that he was selling, but only if he was singing.
That's wild. It sounded like he had an issue. But anyway, I'm sorry. So continue, please.
That's all. Just what I'm thinking of with you. The context of him being able to communicate clearly only happened during singing. Like with you, your speech impediment, if you will, your expression doesn't show up when you're on stage for some reason. It's got to have something to do with like both sides of your brain are finally working together in a certain way that doesn't happen when you're communicating under other circumstances. You say to me, when I talk to myself, I don't stutter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting, man. I mean, I don't know. I think I think it's very interesting. I like how forthright you are about it, and I think it's really cool that you've given us some insight on that. I find it incredibly fascinating, for real. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
That's hearing what you just said. So many things. I mean, I don't even know where to start. Hold on. So, first of all, I'm still gonna answer how I know that my speech problem.
Yes, please.
The reason is I think that I don't have it on stage, but still before that, you was talking about that guy, and with this singing, I learned that at 8 years old. So I got a story on that too. So, what is it? Okay, so when I was 8 years old, I lived with my aunt in the same town I'm in now. And again, I grew up an Army brat, so I moved around a lot.
Gotcha.
A whole lot. So I got to remember different ages at different places that I'm at. So at 8 years old, I lived where I'm at now in Norristown. And we used to play Pee Wee League football in Bridgeport. That's a town right beside us. And we used to walk to practice from Norristown into Bridgeport. Anyway, long story short, I lost my ride coming back in. I don't know exactly what happened. Maybe the people I was supposed to go with, they left without me, but I don't know. Either way, my coach asked me if I wanted a ride. I said, yeah. He gave me a ride back home. It's not very far. So he's giving me a ride home, and I recall that I tried to talk or some shit to him. And he could see that obviously I was having problems saying words. Like I said, as bad as I am now, I'm 10 times better than I was as a child. Okay. So him talking to me, he could see that I obviously had a problem, and he told me about a country singer. Now this is in the 80s. Yep. I'm a 79er, so this is like 87, 86. So he told me about a country singer who sang beautifully, who had a beautiful voice and all, but when he spoke, he couldn't get a word out. Wow. So he said, maybe you should try to sing. And I did. And I went in that house and I learned to sing that I knew it before that, but I didn't really put it to, one plus one until he told me to. Huh. And when I went in that house, I learned that I could, if I talk like this, I'm not going to stutter. I could sing all day long, and I did this when I was 8 years old.
Listen to that.
I just was going around singing like that.
Holy shit, buddy. Wow. It blew my fucking mind.
Yeah, right.
Dude, I don't know what's in this up. Good Lord.
Wow. I got to bring remix out one day so we can join with your homies.
Yeah, I think.
But anyway,
listen, I think that we're definitely gonna have to come around again and do like a part 2 of this. This has been,
doubt, bro.
Yeah. I feel like we've only scratched the surface. Neat. Hey, listen, man. I hate to do it, but I gotta run. But this has been so cool. Thank you so much. This has been so cool.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's been a goddamn pleasure. All on this side of the table. Thank you very much.
And I also want to thank you for encouraging Tony to do another one of the voices that he's been playing with lately. He needs all the encouragement he can get, Jay. I want to tell you that for damn sure.
Well, I thank the three of you for coming through, and y'all did a beautiful job yourself.
All right, man. Hey, listen, brother, take it easy. I hope to see you in Philly at some mics or some shows. Okay, keep doing your thing.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. Have a great day, brother. Thank you. Bye bye. Good luck.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right, bro. Bye bye.
Be blessed.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
Oh my God, Jaye Burrell, that was great. Holy
I can't. Can you believe when he started singing?
Man, that was beautiful. Thank you, everybody. Episode 7, Let's Talk Chest Lock. That was great. Have a great day. Bye-bye now. Like, subscribe, tell all your damn friends.
Chest lock. Let's talk chest lock.